Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to delve a little bit deeper into interracial marriages and getting to know someone from a different culture. I'm not an expert, but I thought I'd just give my opinion. I get a lot of messages on Instagram asking me my opinion about meeting someone outside of the culture, what I was afraid of, and maybe I can help you guys out. So to do this, I actually have a couple of messages from people without naming names or giving any certain details about this person. I'm just going to talk about it in general and give you guys some advice on how to really choose someone outside your culture in a very confident way, because I know it's such a difficult thing, even though it shouldn't be. It should be the norm. But, anyways, let's just get straight into it. So, I received a message on Instagram. This lovely lady had met a Bengali man and she was very interested in him, but she had a couple concerns about him being Bengali, his Bengali culture, the spicy food, and the fact that his mother doesn't speak English. So she had a couple of concerns and she'd asked me my advice and what I think she should do. Again, I'm not an expert, but she was asking my opinion because I've married a Bengali man and it was my choice and I went ahead with it with, a few concerns here and there, but I gave her my advice. So my mother-in-law doesn't speak English as well, but I had told her that it shouldn't be an issue. With my mother-in-law, we communicate, but in a different way. So we do have people around us who will translate for us. So my husband will be there, my sister-in-law will be there, his brother will be there. So it's not a big issue. If I'm left alone with his mom, we basically use hand gestures, and she does understand a little bit, like how are you, and we talk about food, like who doesn't talk about food. So you can definitely find ways to communicate just using hand gestures, and yeah. So the only problem with having your in-laws not speak English is that I feel like you can't have a deep and meaningful conversation. Just remember, there is a connection between you two. The connection is that you are her son's wife, and that's such a special, special thing to her. Some people might say that maybe it's a blessing in disguise. A lot of people go through issues with their mother-in-laws, and maybe if you can't communicate in that way, there's a little bit of a barrier and boundary, and no boundaries are crossed. So that might be a good thing. Now, in terms of food, I mean, listen, it's so exciting to eat different kinds of foods. If you're not into spicy food, that shouldn't be a problem. You can always explain to your in-laws, hey, I can't have spicy food, and they will adjust it for you. I know with my in-laws, they would adjust it for me, and then I just got so into it. I love spicy food. It's so good. So definitely experiment, experience, and get out there, because you know what? It's fun. So her main concern is, will she be able to fit into his culture? And she asked me, how did I do it? Well, basically, I'm going to be very honest. The reason why my husband and I, who's Bengali, why it works so well is because I feel like our values and our cultures are very similar. And I'm not talking about I'm not talking about the Bengali Lebanese culture. I'm talking about the British Canadian culture, because I was born in Canada, I was raised there, and Ahmad was also raised here in England, and born here. So basically, I feel like we connect on that level, and then our Bengali and Lebanese cultures come as second, if that makes any sense. So because we've grown up in very similar countries, our values, the way we think, the way we live is very similar. So we were able to connect on so many levels. So you have to determine if you guys can connect like that. So for example, if Ahmad was from Bangladesh and he was brought up in Bangladesh all his life, will me and him connect? Maybe, but how well, I don't know. That's something you have to consider. Where was the individual born? What are his values? Do you guys connect on that level? When you meet someone, it's so important to ask the right questions. You don't want to delve too far into the relationship, into speaking with them for weeks on end, months on end, without asking the important questions. If you do that in the beginning, you will save yourself a lot of time and energy and emotions. It's not necessary to continue talking if you feel like there's a red flag coming up, something's bothering you, your gut is telling you, no, this isn't right, this is not something I'm comfortable with. Listen to your gut. It's so important. So you have to ask the right questions. So for example, when it comes to culture and religion, You got to ask the individual, what's more important, your culture or your religion to you? Which will you choose first? If your culture says that, you know what, we like to have music at our weddings and dance at our weddings, and your religion says the opposite of that, then you got to ask the person that you're talking to, which one is more important? Will he choose his religion, or will he choose to not have dancing, to have dancing? So that's something, that's might be important to you. Also, how will the kids be raised? That's such an important question. I know it's a far thing to think about because you're just talking to this person. You don't even know if this is someone you're going to marry, but it's so important to talk about these important things, even though it's like far away into the future. Another very important question to ask is, how much will his family get involved in your marriage? Because a lot of times our in-laws, they tend to feel like they have an opinion when they really don't. All the important decisions that happen in life should be between husband and wife. And if necessary, if you're stuck, to ask someone else's opinion in the family. But it's always important to have husband and wife come together first and make a decision. Now, will your partner allow that to happen, or will your partner allow the in-laws to make your decisions for you? So that's a very important question to ask. Ask him to show you his culture, or ask her to show you her culture. Show each other both your cultures. Tell them about everything, the events that you go to. What do you guys celebrate at home? What is the way that you deal with one another, like your sisters and your uncles and your aunts? What are the things that you call each other? So do you call them auntie, uncle? Those are such important things because you will have to eventually take them on. You don't want any surprises in marriage. I know there's always going to be some sort of new thing you have to deal with, but you want to minimize the amount of surprises you're going to get once you get married and in the future. So ask those important questions. Figure out whether you guys connect culturally, religiously. You might find that he's more Bengali than he is British, and that's completely fine. It just depends on how well you can connect with that. So I received another message from Instagram, and this one was a totally different scenario. It was a Muslim woman who was interested in a Christian man who was Nigerian, and he came from a polygamous family, so that meant that his father married many different women. I'm not sure how many, but he did. And her main concern was, how was she going to approach her parents about him, especially since they're very strict. And she was wondering if there's anything religious she can say, any hadiths she can bring up. So here is my opinion. Right off the bat, a Muslim woman cannot marry someone who's Christian, who's not Muslim. So right off the bat, if he is going to be Muslim, then it's okay for you to marry him. Now, my main concern is he becoming Muslim because of you? Is he changing because of you? Will he continue being Muslim after marriage? How important was Islam to him? And how well does he connect with Islam? Does he pray on his own time? Does he do things on his own time that are Islamic? Those are really important questions to ask him, because at the end of the day, if you do marry him and he starts reverting back to his way of life, you will have a lot of problems. So you have to ensure that he's doing it for himself and not just for you. So he comes from a polygamous family, right? So his father, I'm assuming, has married many women. I know that in Islam, a man is allowed to marry 4 if he has the permission of his first wife. That's the main thing, right? He has permission from his first wife. Now, I sincerely and truly would not get into a relationship with someone who believes in polygamy. It's not something that I could deal with. I'm not willing to share, and a lot of us are not willing to share. And let's be honest, how many men out there can really support a woman emotionally, financially, and everything fairly and squarely? I don't think so. So, especially in this day and age, I mean, everything's so expensive. And everyone has different emotions. It's just, it's a whole mess. So I would ask this partner if he believes in polygamy, if he's also planning on marrying more than one woman after he marries you. Yeah, that's such an important question, right? When it comes to your parents, You can always bring up the fact that, you know, in Islam it's allowed for women, but you can reassure them that your potential spouse does not believe in it and is not willing to do it. Guys, at the end of the day, you have to bring it up to your family one way or another. And sometimes, no matter how you bring it up, it'll explode in your face. But that's okay because you'd rather know now than later on. You just need to figure things out. Are you moving forward with this partner or not? I read somewhere, someone was asking, but what if I'm so in love with him and I just don't want to leave him? My parents are so against it. What do I do? And it was actually a sheikh who responded and said, time will heal, and sometimes it's just not worth it, and it's sometimes true. Sometimes it's not worth the sacrifice of your family for an individual that might bring a lot of problems to your life. So you got to really consider that. This brings me to another message I received on Instagram where this lady wanted to marry a Bengali man, but her parents were very against it, and she became very, very aggressive towards her parents. Guys, we can't do that. At the end of the day, our parents are our parents. They love us and they want the best for us. Now, if you want to approach them, you got to do it in a nice, calm way. You got to listen to their opinions and what they value and what they care about. It might be totally against what you believe in, but if the person that you're willing to fight for is really, really, really good, go for it, but in a nice and gentle way, and just stay patient. Sabr, Allah will give you everything you want if you just stay patient and have sabr. So that is it, guys. These are the scenarios I thought I'd talk about today. I really enjoyed just, talking about it and giving my opinion. Again, I'm not saying I'm not, I'm not saying I'm right. I'm not saying I'm wrong. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you yourself are going through something like this, direct message me on Instagram and I will help you guys out by giving my opinion. If you guys want a part 2 of this, let me know and we can get that done ASAP. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. We'll talk soon. Bye.